that, or the Delta Force, the British SAS, that kind of thing. They kind of fall into those same categories. I don't know what the Norwegians have for special forces. I'm not real familiar with the Norwegians military, or Norway's military. But I'm sure they have a group of special forces as well over there, and I'm sure there's some pretty hard hitting individuals. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did I say just to piss people off? That would be funny if I did.
No, I said that.
I mean, oh yeah. So I don't know. Did I say just to piss? Oh, I'm getting an echo over there, Mitch.
No, huh?
You
Yeah,
got
no,
me. You got YouTube up. I think I hear
no,
myself.
I just turned my phone on so I can watch the chat.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm,
But
I'm
yeah,
doing. Yeah, I'm restreaming it. I turned the volume. I had to turn the volume off so I could watch the chat
yeah,
and
that's
listen to
no
you.
problem. And what honestly, what people do is it's always funny to me, honestly. If you're gonna if you really want to pull off being a fake veteran, it's probably better to claim to be like a cook or a administration person. Then it's easier to buy, and people won't really look into it as much. If you really want to pull off that I was a wounded veteran and stuff, why don't you just talk about the boring shit of being in the military? Be just like a be just like an average soldier, an everyday, not a Rambo type, just a dude that fixed trucks, or a light wheel mechanic, as they called them, or whatever, a typist, 71 Lima, they used to call them that when I was in the finance specialist. Nobody ever pretends to be them. Why is that? Why does everybody want to be Rambo when they fake being a soldier? I mean, I know why. Why do you think that is, Mitch? Why do you think people want to portray themselves as a SEAL or a Green Beret or a Ranger? Why don't they just pretend to be a cook?
It's one of those things where people have these delusions of grandeur, and they think that if they can embellish it and make it sound good and real enough, that other people will buy it and become part of their illusion and help them feel like they're alive because they're dead inside and they have no self-worth. So they need to create this illusion of being something that they're not.
Do you think they just want the fawning eyes of other people looking at you and go, "Man, that guy has seen some shit." I mean,
Yeah.
he.
But think about it now. Any rational person, Tats, knows that if you break a bone in your leg, you are not walking on it.
Right. And Albert Mill, yeah, you're right. Ranger School itself is considered to be a leadership school. I actually medicked for RIP, Ranger Indoctrination Program, several times, and it was an honor to do that. And by the way, those Ranger instructors, even though I was just the medic tasked with being the medic for RIP in the unit that I was in, which was over in Hawaii, the 25th Infantry Division, I learned a ton. I actually volunteered to be the medic for RIP several times when other medics were tasked to do it. They'd say, "Hey, man, I don't really like doing RIP." I would say, "Man, I'll take it," and I would go out and do it with them all the time. I loved it, and I learned so much. So yeah, RIP is very much a leadership school. Essentially, that's what it is. They put you in different roles of what members of the platoon. So one day you might be the medic, one day you might be the radio operator, one day you might be the platoon sergeant, one day you might be the platoon leader, one day you might be a team leader, a squad leader, and things like that. So they switch you around in different roles, and then they evaluate you when you're in a leadership role, and that's kind of how Ranger School goes throughout the entire time. And of course, then there's the skills and things like that that you learn along the way. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a leadership school.
And you know, it's one of them odd things when you look at people that do these type of things and the people that follow blindly behind them without questioning it. It makes you wonder about the mentality of the person that's following blindly with this bullshit.
Right.
Because
Right. It's
now
strange. It's
I've
very
never
strange.
I've never been in the military, but I got a lot of family that's been in the military. I've been on
Right.
nuclear subs and everything. And
Yeah.
I've even been to Coronado. I did that Marine. I went with the Marines and did that Marine recon obstacle course with the Marines when I was
Oh yeah. Was
yeah,
a kid or something
yeah,
or?
as a kid.
Oh
I,
yeah, yeah. We actually had our junior ROTC cadets that used to come on our base, and we would do a little like I think it was like 2 weeks long little thing with them.
but those things they taught me something because I actually got to sit in the PsyOps classes and all that stuff with them. So
Yeah.
I got to understand some of the stuff about the military. If you ever noticed, Tats, 90% of the time, if I ask a question, I already know the answer to it.
You know, it was really funny is I had a high school junior ROTC cadet one time who was an officer in junior ROTC get upset because I was an E4 at the time and I didn't salute him. I commenced to dropping him for several push-ups. By the way, after he did that little shenanigans, what? Where's my salute? I looked at him like he had 10 fucking heads. I mean, you know, it was crazy. I was the medic covering that range on that particular moment, and he expected me to salute his ass. Or that talk about disillusionment or
you know, Tats, one thing I don't get about some people that join the military
what's
is
that?
that when they join up, they got all this good spiel for all their friends and family, but when they get in there, they do totally the opposite thing of what they said they were gonna do and how they were gonna act. But
Well,
they
I
do,
think it's because
eh,
they imagined it to be one way, and it turns out it's a
eh,
total different
but
animal.
you know, and then they bitch and moan and cry about, oh, I didn't go that far because of this and this and this. No, you didn't go that far because you was stupid and you had the wrong ideology when you went in there in the first place.
Yeah, well, the thing is a lot of people think a lot of things in the military are just automatic. And I'll just give you an example of that. When I went through basic training, I had no clue. I had no clue that so many people fail basic training. I did not even realize how hard it was to even get past through the physical. Like there's so many people that get rejected just in that phase of it.
Yeah,
Like I was pretty taken back by that. And
it,
just to make it in is a huge accomplishment.
yeah, because like my uncle was a Green Beret. He went through it. He did the whole entire works, and he used to tell me all the time. He said, "You know how many times I wanted to quit because my mind changed about why I was here, and then I realized that I'm already here. I have to deal with this because I signed up for this. So now I have to make the best of the situation that I'm in. So I have to deal with it, and I learned to deal with it in a different way than most people. I learned that no matter what side of the world you fighting on, if you're fighting for truth, justice, and freedom, and to keep people alive, that's one thing. But if you're fighting just because you want a Purple Heart or whatever that you want to come home and claim you a war hero and all this stuff, that don't make no sense to me. Because if I'm gonna go over there and I signed up for it, I'm gonna go over there and do what I'm supposed to do. But like the one guy told me, he said, you know, I almost got court-martialed
Yeah.
because the guy, my lieutenant told me to shoot a child in the field with a bunch of goats, and I told him to kiss my ass.
Well, I've heard that story before. Now, I'm always cautious when I hear those stories, though, because I hear a lot of times that when people are embellishing things, a lot of times that happens to be the story.
But
Now,
now, that
however,
I actually got to read those papers, Tats, where he almost got court-martialed for telling the lieutenant he wasn't gonna kill that little kid out there with them goats. He told him straight
now
up,
why would he order somebody to kill a child though,
man,
unless the child was
the lieutenant was gung ho. They had them wiped out everybody,
because
all the people.
that would be an
Yeah,
unlawful order actually,
yeah, yeah, and that's why he didn't obey it because
and you wouldn't be court-martialed for that for
yeah,
an unlawful order.
the lieutenant tried to get him court-martialed
Yeah,
because he
that's
wouldn't kill that child. But you done killed all these motherfuckers that were shooting at you. That child just come wandering through with
no.
a herd of goats.
No, you have a actual a responsibility to refuse unlawful orders.
And that's what he
Uh,
did. And the lieutenant tried to get him court-martialed for it. And when he
yeah.
explained what happened, he told the people, he said, listen, this is what went down. We were under enemy fire. All the targets were taken out. This child with these goats came wandering through. And the lieutenant told me to kill the kid, and I told him kiss my ass.
Logan saying, man, that's pretty funny. That's a good point. Why did lieutenants do anything? Well, I would rebut that a little bit, Logan, by saying
Right
that
there.
we've had some lieutenants in my platoon that were actually former enlisted, and those lieutenants I would definitely look at in a different light than just some butter bar right out of college. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell the difference between somebody who was prior service, or went through the NCO, or was an NCO first, and then went through what do you call that? What's the damn NC? No, what's the damn academy for officers nowadays? What the shit? What's that called? Shit. Why am I getting a mental block now? It's officer candidate school, OCS. That's it, OCS. Yep, I knew I was going to think of it in a second. What's up, Mr. Finkel?
Howdy. I forgot what you guys were saying. Oh yes, the lawful order thing. It made me think of some of the Kaiser videos where he says, any order a police officer gives you is a lawful order until a judge says otherwise. I'm like,
no, that's not true.
You didn't get very far in basic training if you believe
that. Right. I mean, there's several examples out there where in the military where unlawful orders were refused, and the officer in charge who gave those orders were prosecuted. There's been several times like that, Yeah. MSG retired. You would have, because you've had a long career. Like you've probably had tons of different experiences with all types of officers and enlisted and so on and so forth. But I have to tell you that the E4s in the military are what makes what makes the military run smoothly. The E4s, we get shit done, Master Sergeant. We know all the ins and outs. We know how to sham the best too. We, you know what I mean? We can fucking get over on just about anybody. We're the fucking E4 mafia, man. We're the fucking mob. E4s know everything. If you need, the E4 mafia. The E5 mafia? No, the E4 mafia. That's where it's at, man. Not the E5s.
I think that was a typo. His finger hit the wrong key.
Yeah. The E5s, they retired from the mafia. They sold out to the man. Yeah, the E5s, they're the establishment now.
Anything above a 4 is the establishment, huh?
Yeah. E4's E4 where you're a brand new private, you need to get into an E4's room and they'll tell you the whole thing, the whole deal.
But that's like most of the military people I know saying, the people that if you're gonna ask a question, you always ask either the gunnery sergeant or the master sergeant, because they've been there, done that, and they keep on doing it over and over again.
Yeah, well, see, I got out as an E4. That's what my rank was when I got out. So I am forever a member of the E4 Mafia. Proud. You can just call me Mr. Gotti, as a matter of fact.
That's like I tell people all the time. I say, you got, like, if I have a question, I know who to go to ask. If I got a military question, I know I can ask MSG, I can ask you, I can ask David, and a couple other people I know, and get the answer that I'm looking for that's going to be the right answer, not no bullshit. Because I asked a question one day just out of random curiosity. I asked anybody, have they ever seen the gun that the military was working on that was supposed to allow people to shoot around the corner? And the dude said, there ain't no such a fucking thing. I said, well, I'll be damned, because I was just looking at it on the military base when I was over there. It was in prototype. It was
the hell is that? What weapon would that be? MSG retired?
It was a fucked up thing, because it was a prototype, some guy designed this gun that you were supposed to be able to look around the corner and see around the corner and shoot the target around the corner. The gun.
No, Angry Vet, I'm not denying that it is. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
what kind of gun is it? I don't know what
I
it's called.
have no clue. I just saw it when I was on the military base. It was a prototype or something. You're supposed to be able to look around the corner, and the gun's supposed to be able to bend, and it has 2 triggers, one in the back and one in the front. You can put it around. It was weird.
My dad and I both agree. My dad was a Vietnam era guy, and he agrees with me that the military tends to stay between 10 and 20 years in advanced in technology over what you see in the civilian sector. Things that you will see 20 years from now in the civilian sector, the military already has. In a lot of things. Anyway, I'm not saying everything, but a lot of things.
Because we were working in the federal, we were hauling the acoustic panels and stuff in a federal building, and in that federal building, the military was in there, and they were putting them dampers or communication scramblers or whatever up in the motherfucking ceiling while we were putting the acoustic panels up. They were working in front of us. I was watching them.
I'll tell you what was brand new when I was just about
the top floor of that building, Tats, all had them dampers or whatever the fuck it is, them communication scramblers, the whole entire top. We were
using something called a PAX. That was a brand new thing. Do you remember that, MSG Retired? It's called a PAX. I think I'm calling it right. It's a laser. It operates kind of like Miles gear, but it actually puts a dot on the target. It's like an infrared dot, but it was brand new when I was in. And also GPS was brand new when I was in for a infantry unit. Like we had a thing called a slugger at one point, and then we got the plugger, which I wonder what those. Maybe somebody knows, but the plugger, the slugger,
Tats,
then the plugger.
Hey, Tats, Troy said he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean,
Troy, I found it at cornershot.com. It's a thing. I'm like, whoa, this is the craziest thing.
And this was
IR4 IR.
I saw this when I was like 17 when I was working. I saw this on Blueprints.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why people look at me like I'm crazy. This shit exists. I seen it with my own fucking eyes. And you just pulled it up.
Yeah.
And Troy over here talking about, the barrel pivots up to 90 degrees.
I'll tell you the coolest thing I ever fired, got a chance. Well, actually 2 things that I think were probably the coolest thing. Actually 3. Now, see, when you think about it, I got to fire off, clack off or push the clacker on 38 Claymore mines, all daisy chained together at the same time. That was pretty badass. Yeah, exactly. The earplugs were definitely in for that. And then the other thing, I got to drop a mortar a few times. I thought that was pretty cool. And then the Mark 19, the MK19, which is a belt-fed grenade launcher. Those are fucking awesome too. And that wasn't something our unit actually had. The Marines had it. And we went out to Kaneohe Marine Corps base over in Hawaii, and they were shooting it over there. And I got to pull the trigger a few times on that. And that was pretty badass. So those were the 3 things. I think out of all of those, I think the Mark 19 was my favorite of all of those. But medics, they always seem to, I don't know what it is, but they always seem to get their jollies off of watching old Doc getting up behind on the firing range doing that. I don't know why, but they're like, "Hey, Doc, you want to clack off these Claymore mines? Okay, yeah, sure." And I'm down there fucking clacking off 38 daisy chained Claymore mines. That's pretty badass, I mean, those are things to me that that just make it all worth it in the end. I mean, especially when you were in the time period I was in. That was fun, man. I mean, what young man doesn't want to blow shit up? You know what I mean? Come on. I mean, that was fun back then, to do that. I mean, you only see shit like that in the movies.
Looking at the pictures on this cornershot.com, it looks like it might be a 9mm.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of round it shoot. I just saw it on the blueprints when I was walking by, and I stopped and looked. I said, "What the fuck? This motherfucker bends around the corners and shit."
Well, does it say like on the Claymore mine, point this side towards enemy? Does it say that so you don't fucking point it the wrong way? I always thought that was funny, by the way, on the clay. But see, the Claymore though, it has a curve to it. It's curved a little bit, and so if you don't know anything about a Claymore mine, the curved part, the bow goes towards the enemy. The curved part is facing you. So when you're placing a Claymore, that's probably why they do it, because I guess mentally maybe you would think that the curve would be the other way around. At least back when that's how I remembered it anyway. But yeah, it does say that on there. It literally says, yeah, we definitely like to blow things up. As a matter of fact, I got the opportunity to blow up the same, now a scaled down version of it, but the same type of bomb that was used on Oklahoma City bombing. We made a fucking ammonium nitrate bomb, and fucking we did it with I think it was diesel fuel, ammonium nitrate. We put it in I think it was a cardboard box, and then they just compacted it in real tight, and then they duct taped it with 100-mile-an-hour tape, and then they put their blasting cap, and I think there might have been some TNT in there with some timing fuse, and that ended up being the bomb, and I got to light that one off. So that was pretty cool too.
I'm split service, Navy and Army.
Yeah.
After being in the Navy as a sonar tech, when I went back to MEPS to join the Army, the career counselor tried to get me in to work with something called a Bangalore torpedo because I was anti-warfare.
Those are loud as fuck.
I didn't know what it was, but something, I can't remember what happened, but I ended up going back into the infantry because I was a National Guard before the Navy. And one of my first ranges I went to at Fort Polk was put on by the combat engineers.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things they showed us was how to breach wire with this long tube of C4, and they called it a Bangalore torpedo. I'm like, that career counselor, he tried to get me.
Hey, I used to love, like, if I was assigned with the combat engineers on their ranges, that was my favorite ranges to go on, because those dudes, not only did you get to see a lot of shit blow up, but you got to learn a lot about explosives. And I used to think to myself when I was on those ranges, there was one range I spent 2 months on, just on that range for 2 months. And all they did they were teaching people how to make improvised explosive devices. And I was thinking to myself, like, what if somebody loses their shit and applies this in real life, like in the civilian world? And lo and behold, Timothy McVeigh, and I think he got his information from the Anarchist Cookbook, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. Bangalore torpedoes, man. Those, they also used the Bangalore torpedo in Saving Private Ryan when they first blew that wire to get through, to breach that wire. Yeah. They used the Bangalore torpedo in that as well. But yeah, I remember the Bangalore torpedo was.
So that's what that loud thing was in Saving Private Ryan.
Let me just.
That bitch was loud.
Let me just tell you, man. When we lit off Bangalore torpedoes, when that was going on, they always made us make sure we had our flak vests, and we were nowhere near that motherfucker, especially blowing up Constantino wire.
Hey,
we were always.
That Constantino wire go everywhere.
Yeah. Well, in the infantry, I loved my job as a medic. And not only that, but a medic that kind of is standoffish, that only sticks to what they do and is really rigid that way. And no, I'm just a medic. I don't dig fighting positions. No, I'm just a medic. I've known medics like that, and those guys don't gel very well with their platoon. I did everything the fucking infantry guys did. I loved it. Like, if they wanted me to do something, sure, yeah, I'll fucking do that. I'll man the 60. I'll fucking shoot the 50. I'll fucking blow that up.
Guy,
oh yeah,
you the guy they trust saving their life.
I love it.
If you're willing to do everything that they're willing to do, they're willing to respect and trust you even more, because
why not?
You're willing to pick up the slack if somebody got to and still do your job.
I just enjoyed it, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I just thought it was fun. I mean, there were for the longest time I always wanted to throw an HE hand grenade, a fucking a white phosphorus hand grenade, and I finally got to do that when I was in Egypt. Fucking threw a white phosphorus hand grenade. That's pretty badass,
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up?
Screenshot this, bitches.
Yeah.
I just came on to say hi to everybody. I'm not going to be here long, but shout out to our dual service veterans who are in the house. Shout out to them. I too am a dual service veteran, regardless of what some veterans might call me.
I've
What
only seen,
branches?
I only got a chance to see one time naval gunfire, and I've always wanted to see it. Like I've seen it on TV, of course, but
It's impressive.
But it's impressive. I saw it when I was over in Egypt. I saw a fucking Italian Navy patrol boat. Now I don't know what size gun they were using. It was on the bow, and it was I mean, from the distance I was away from it, but they were
Probably
shooting these
76.
fucking. I have no idea, but they were shooting these fucking shots over the bow of the ship to try to get them to leave a certain area because they kept. They first launched a helicopter and said, "Hey, get the fuck out of this area." And then they started firing these shots right over the bow. I couldn't believe my fucking eyes.
It's impressive to watch it because, like, you'll see the gun, the barrel of the gun. You'll be on the boat and you'll see the barrel of the gun will be doing this the whole time.
Yeah, because gyroscope.
Yeah, and it looks like the gun's just moving all over the fucking place, but it's dead on balls accurate.
Oh yeah, like a lizard.
It's very similar to the Army's Bradleys and M1 tanks.
Yeah,
as they're moving around, the gun stays right on target.
Yeah,
I'm just amazed by that stuff.
Yeah, they're amazing. The military has some amazing shit, and a lot of it, especially on the medical side. We learned a lot from Vietnam, especially as far as the medical side, and a lot of that translated back. That's where life flights came from, and things like that. Is that stuff was tested out on those battlefields, and that way we came up with helicopter evacs and stuff like that in the civilian world. So yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff, a lot of positive things. War is tragic, but there's a few positive things that come out of it. A lot of good things that do benefit society, including population control, if you want my opinion. But
well, that's, I guess,
maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, think about this. Let me ask you this, and I've asked this question. I'm not talking about ethics. I'm just talking about reality. If World War II had never happened, if World War I had never happened, if any of these wars had never happened, how overpopulated do you think this planet would be at this point? Do you think we would be in a completely different situation now?
That's fair guess. I mean, think of all the people who didn't get a chance to reproduce. They reproduced.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, imagine how many inventions were fucking probably left that never came to fruition because these certain people that probably would have invented whatever it was could have still stayed alive and made, I don't know, a better Cheerio or something. I don't know.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some wars that I can get behind 100%, but for the majority of them, nah, I can't get behind them. I just,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all good. Everybody has their opinion on that kind of thing. And
as I understand it, we spent millions and millions of taxpayer dollars to develop a pen that can write in zero gravity, but the Soviets used a pencil.
Actually, the pen that can write in zero gravity, I thought that I bought those at the PX all the fucking time. I used to get this pen when I used to take out to the field with me, and I brought this waterproof notebook paper that I used to bring out with me to the field to take notes out in the field. When I had to somebody that needed medical care and I needed to write a medical note or something or jot something down, I always had that. It was green paper, as if paper would give you away. I guess it would, maybe. I don't know. But why wasn't toilet paper in the MREs camouflaged? That's why I always wondered.
There was always a running joke when I was on board, because when you're a bosun mate, you kind of do a lot of ordering for a lot of people on supplies and stuff that's needed around the boat and all. And there was always a joke about how much a hammer cost. And it's no lie. This is not a lie. Hammers back then, this was 30 years ago. A hammer cost $120.
What?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even recall seeing a hammer in the military, to be honest with you. I'm trying to think now. I'm like, have I ever seen a fucking hammer when I was in the entire
And
time I
God
was in the
forbid
army?
you
I don't
get
think I
those
ever
little
did.
the needle hammers. They were like $500.
That sounds like somebody's last name, Mr. Needlehammer.
I can't remember which
know-
was which. One was PMS, one was PMCS, between Army and Navy.
PMS was the Army checking
Army,
a vehicle,
okay.
going through a vehicle or a piece of
Right.
equipment or whatever. Yeah. We used to have
PMCS meant the same thing, but it was Navy. But the way, I mean, the Army had a different kind of discipline, but the Navy, if the PMCS card called for a ball peen hammer, you better not use a needle nose hammer because they'll get you for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck
oh, yeah.
yeah.
I used to hate that. Was one of the worst things I didn't like in the military. I hated going to the motor pool to PM our fucking ambulances. I hated doing that. I don't know what it
I
was.
enjoyed
Maybe
the
it was
motor pool. I enjoyed.
it was just
going
too
there
much. It was just too much like work. I don't know.
I liked it.
Um,
I like the motor pool.
Hey, Tats, my friend told me to tell you
Learned a
how
lot.
she watching at work.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I appreciate that. Here, let me put up my device here. I don't know. I don't remember this guy.
Who is
What's
it?
up?
Yo, it's Dubwubs. What's up?
Oh, okay. What's
Dubs.
up, buddy? Yeah.
What up,
I
Dub?
don't remember this guy.
It's been a
How
while.
can you
It's been a
forget
while.
him?
It's been a while. Been a while. You know, you got to excuse. I'm an
Yeah.
old man. I'm an old man.
No, you're good. I mean, I get so many because I subscribe to like the people that I really love to all, and I get so many that it just like throws it off my notification list, and I have to go back and I have to, it's just tough
Resubscribe,
to get
unsubscribe.
to everywhere, it's just tough.
Yeah, that's one of the YouTube things. And another thing that people they need to really fix is when people leave comments in your comment section, they think that you're deleting them, but I'm really not. Like I've been asked about that a few times. They say, "Hey, why are you deleting my comments?" And I haven't. It's just I think it's a glitch with
Oh,
YouTube
yeah.
or something.
No, it's not a glitch. There's the algorithm. I've done this. So particularly J-Town Press, who, I fucks with J-Town Press. I just love what she does. I'm always
Right.
commenting. I'm always doing that. I usually get a little bit salty that I'm like, I'm pretty sure YouTube might delete this. And then I look back like an hour later. I'm like, yep, they deleted it.
By the way, I just got a privacy strike on one of my videos, the 10-minute tats that I did on that auditor Ozzy audits or something. But it appears that the privacy strike went to the auditor primarily, and apparently it affected my video as well. So,
Yeah. Well, what I
guess
put
that's how
on,
it worked.
one of the things that I can tell you that just happened recently was I told J-Town Press, and I was just playing around. I mean, because I kind of feel it, but I kind of don't, because I think that women are just as equal. They're not on this, we're different, And I
Right.
was like, well, abolish the 19th Amendment, do this, and all female deputies suck. And they deleted that. And so
Right.
I had to go back. I realized it was deleted because I knew it was going to be. And I was like, yo, the YouTube overlords got me. And she's like, well, that wasn't me. I was like, no, it definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, and another one was she said, who called the sheriff? And I was like, I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. And I spelt it out. And I was like, this is going to get taken down, dude. And I went back. And so I was like, yo, this happened. He's like, that wasn't me. I was like, no, it was definitely the YouTube overlords.
Yeah,
So I
that's crazy.
retyped it with the little water pistol as far as shoot. And she's
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, that was definitely YouTube. I was like, yeah, I know.
By the way, J-Town Press, I've actually had a good conversation with her over the phone before. We talked for about like 2 hours one day over the phone. One of the very few people that I've ever contacted in YouTube land directly. There's some surprising things about J-Town that a lot of people don't know. But one thing that's not a surprise, but a lot of people don't know, is J-Town is a veteran. A lot of people don't know that.
Yo,
about
I didn't
her.
know that. For a long time, I think it was on yours, or I forget whose it was. I was watching live, and they mentioned that, and it had to do with that guy. We're not going to say his name. That Wangle Dangle.
Right.
So and I was
that's
like,
his name.
yo, I was like,
Wangle.
GT. I didn't know that you and JT were vets? And he's like, yeah, I mean, she was Air
I
Force, and
I found out who all the veterans were real quick when I was called out for being stolen valor, which people are still calling me out
Right.
for.
Well,
I
that's
found
the
out real
thing.
quick who all the veterans were.
That's the thing, Angry Vet. We've had our conversation about that before, and it's not because. Here's the thing: if you have a question about a veteran service, just talk to them normally. Say, "Hey, look,
Right.
you know what? There's a few things that I have a question about." That's how I approached him. I just said, "Hey, man, there's a few questions I have, and can you answer these questions?" Sure, man, I'll answer the question. Fine, and that's what he did, and I'm fine with what he told me, and that should be any veteran. You just you just tell them. Now, of course, there may be some information that they may not want to give you because people in YouTube land or even on the internet are visceral and they want to fucking find you, and so
I
you
just
may
don't
want to.
get it. I just don't understand why
Yeah,
other veterans would be that way. Like, why
yeah,
would
but it
another
happens.
veteran do
well,
that?
I mean,
It
I would.
happens.
I mean, I can, from an outside perspective, I can see why they'd be a little bit like questioning, but also they should also be just as accepting when it's like obvious. It's like, hello.
Right, right.
Well,
But
I
then
don't care
again, there
about
are
being
people.
questioned. I don't care about being questioned, but you better have the fucking receipts before you accuse me of
Oh,
anything.
absolutely,
Simple
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, I
program.
agree with that. Yeah, that's exactly what should happen. I mean, you should not. You should be very careful about the stolen valor accusation unless you know for sure. And I actually will tell you, the first time I made that video about Wrangler, I wasn't exactly 100%, but I kind of was.
That's why I
Um,
kinda told you.
I think it might
I
have been
think we had
you.
words about that, Tat, one time. Well, I think I sent you an email saying, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't, get on this guy right just yet," you
yeah,
know?
yeah, no, I agree. I think it was
I
you that
don't.
said that. Yeah.
I don't know if it was you, Tats, or who it was, but it was right when that whole thing came out, and that's when I learned that JT, GT, I learned Wolverine, I learned a whole bunch of people were veterans. I was like, oh, that's something that they don't just outright say all the time, you know?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and that's one thing I do have. I do nitpick a little bit. Listen, people will tell you that veterans won't tell you that they're veterans, right? Yes, they will. Are you full of shit? Like I know, it depends on the person. It's just like anything else. If you really like I had one person tell me, why did only 4 years of your life become like the defining thing of your entire life? Well, one thing about being a vet is because you live kind of a different, it's a different experience, unlike anything else that you've ever done. And it's pretty extraordinary. Some
Yeah,
of
it's a new world understanding of what you're going through, and that
it
most people don't understand, especially before the birth of YouTube. You always had like grandpa's stories or papa's
right,
stories, you know? I mean, they
That's
were just
another thing I
stories.
don't understand is I'm very proud to be a veteran, and I
right.
put it out there. But what I don't understand are these veterans that I don't want to say they hate themselves, but
No, I know what you're talking
th-
about. I know exactly
th-
what you're talking
they're
about.
not proud of what they, you know, where they came from or what they did. Well, maybe
They don't
those aren't
even
even the
wanna
right
talk
word.
about what they did. But see, part of that sometimes has to do with the shame that comes along with some combat experience, I think. In certain but there are some peacetime veterans that are the same way that will not talk about their military service, and they had a perfectly fine career, but they just say, "Well, fuck it. That was something in my past, and I don't wanna talk about it anymore." I don't know. I think it just depends on your
Yeah, some
personality
people
type.
got to move on, man. Some people got to move on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess if you want to make fun of me and say that I'm kind of like the guy that's trapped in the high school thing where I peaked in high school, and now everything was about my time in football and stuff like that. I guess the militaries might be the same way for me.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
that's
while
it.
you're moving on, you don't shit on other veterans. I mean, and that just goes for everybody, really. You don't just because you have a different point of view of something doesn't give you the right to shit on other fucking people.
Well, see,
Yeah.
MSG retired. I wish we could make a video about that. By the way, I really, man, MSG retired. Have you ever reached out to Don Shipley, man? Because I wish you and Don Shipley would do a collab video
I would
on
love to meet that
on
man.
I've talked to him on the phone like 3 times, and I've spoke with Diane twice on the phone.
Legend.
Diane was the very first one that I actually contacted with Kaiser's story. And she was the one who kind of gave me the confidence to make my first video. I told the story before, but I called her up and I said, "Hey, Diane, you got time to talk real quick?" "Sure, honey." And I just got this guy that I'm going to make a video about that. I believe he's lying about a service. So I started talking about what this guy's stories were. And Diane is a former bosun's mate in the Navy. That's one thing she's very proud of. But she's also the mother of a SEAL Team 6 operator, which is DJ Shipley, and also the wife of a actual SEAL operator too. So this woman has a great knowledge of just military stuff in general. And so I started telling her with the stories that Kaiser was telling people on the internet. And the first thing Diane told me, she goes, in the way only Diane could say, she goes, "Hey, honey, I smell shit." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, those stories, they're all full of shit. She goes, "I'd make that damn video tomorrow," you know? And I did. I accidentally did. But I know MSG, but damn it, man, why can't he just do it one time? That would be the best thing. I mean, I would just have it would be great. That's all I gotta say. It would be fucking awesome. That's all.
Any wife, really, Dave. Any wife of a veteran is a job. Is a serious job.
I know. Something I heard triggered.
As long as she stays true, though, we gotta like put that in there.
I can't remember who said what, but it triggered a memory of was it an AFN commercial? Navy wife, the toughest job in the Navy.
I don't know. Well, the Navy would probably be really tough because the sailors are always gone, I guess. But I've heard a lot of sailors that have never even been on a ship. Like they spent their entire career on shore duty. Is that
That's crazy?
Crazy. Well, I've heard certain sailors tell me I very rarely went out on a cruise anywhere, which is
it's
really
just like any other military. You got your support teams and stuff
right.
like that.
Yeah, there's only so many people that can be on a ship versus the people that have to be on satellites and tracking duty.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I just 5,000 on an aircraft carrier.
I just wouldn't want to be a submariner to breathe like recycled farts for 6 months.
No, that's a different kind of crazy.
I got a question because
kind of person to be on a sub.
I have a question. Y'all that are military, obviously I'm not stolen valor, but I thought because a lot of the aircraft carriers, a lot of them are not Navy, or is that not true? Or is a lot of people who fly the jets, and are they not?
Everybody, there's you could probably find just about every service on an aircraft carrier.
I would guess. I don't know that. Do they have Army on an
aircraft carrier? Because we live by. I mean, I live right next to. I forget the name of it. It's down there in Aurora, Colorado. It's the. It's the Air Force, but obviously there's a lot of jets and stuff on. On the aircraft carrier, I guess is what you'd call it. Is there a difference between an aircraft carrier and like a Navy? Anything? Like I don't know. I'm just curious.
It's a naval ship.
Yeah, it's a ship. Yeah. I mean, we had boats in the Army, ships in the Army. Even when we transported our vehicles, a lot of times an Army ship would come up there and transport like big like these. They had
like a discipline, like without being disrespectful. It's like a discipline on like a remodel projects where there's a bunch going on. You need those specific people there, like the electricians, the plumber. Is that kind of what we're talking about?
I would suppose,
that's in every military. There's plumbers, electricians. There's.
I just mean like as far as like the discipline in the military, like the specific military position you're in, like you need the naval people to guide things. You need the Air Force to fly the jets that are on your naval boat. You need some people that know how to shoot some guns. Is that what we're talking about?
Usually the aviators on a carrier are Navy, sometimes Marine Corps.
Yeah, that's what
I've
MSU
seen
was
some
just
Air
saying.
Force. I've seen Air Force
Really.
planes land on carriers before.
Oh, that's
It all
interesting.
depends on the mission and where people are at the time that they're at.
I would love to.
It's a
I would love to see
support.
an aircraft carrier in person, like to go on board anyway.
It's impressive. I mean,
It's a
when you're right
complicated
next to it,
machine,
you're
right?
right up in the
Yeah,
air.
I'm sure it would be kind of cool to see that. I mean, I've seen one in at Pearl Harbor, docked, but I've never seen one. Like I've never been on one or anything like that. I was
And
on
they
a
go a lot
British.
faster than you can than you think. I
I
mean,
was on a British Navy ship once when I was a kid, where they came and they were giving tours and everything. It was the first time I ever got to hold an assault rifle. They gave me this giant assault rifle, and I didn't know how to hold it, and it was heavy as fuck. I was like 6 years old. It was the best fucking thing in the world.
we used to. There was one time
Machines.
where we had a Steel Beach, and we would just sit there and we watched touch and goes all day.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do that. I mean, the coolest aircraft I ever got to see on a range is the A-10 Warthog. Like that is a badass aircraft right there. From then on,
they're
that's
thinking
always
about
been
decommissioning that.
I've heard that 1,000 times, man. But that thing is a badass piece of machinery right there.
Where did I hear that? I heard that recently, actually. That
They've been trying to do that forever. I don't know if they're ever going to, but that's one hell of an aircraft.
So without sounding like I don't know what I'd sound like. I'm asking just because I'm kind of like interested. I mean, what is a touch and go? Like for me and everybody that's viewing that doesn't know, I would like what's a touch and go? Like what does that mean?
They come in like they're going to land, and they might even touch the deck or the runway, and then they take right back off.
What's the purpose for that?
Just practicing their landing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Even as a civilian, one of my claims to fame is I have exactly 30 minutes of flying times in a Cessna 172. I went up with a pilot one time doing what they call a discovery flight, and he was talking to me about touch and goes and how those, and that's something that's basic learning how to fly 101 type of stuff, so you would do touch and goes even as a student pilot. But by the way, flying, if you ever get a chance, and I don't know if they still do those, but if you ever get a chance to do a discovery flight, that's fucking awesome. That's badass. I mean, I got to taxi out on the runway, I got to take off, I got to fly around for like 30 minutes, and then we landed. I didn't land, the pilot did, the instructor did, but I got to fly.
If you ever get the chance to fly, period,
that was badass. That was fun.
It's pretty exhilarating. I was taken up into a glider once, pulled up. We were pulled behind an airplane. I was in the glider. We were pulled behind another plane, taken up. And then he was like, just pull that lever right there. And I was like, okay. And I pulled it, and it was like a big clunk, and we were free.
Oh, by the way, hats off to Toby Keith.
That button that says "Do not press." Press it.
Did you guys hear Toby Keith died? It was either yesterday or today.
February 3rd, 3 days ago.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I just found out about it today. I must be late on it, but yeah.
You gotta. I'm not gonna support Twitter, but I mean, I'm just gonna support Twitter for different reasons, though. Right. It is the first source of true news, but yeah, that's how I knew it was the 3rd. So.
Oh yeah, MSU retired. You would never be able to, did you oh, you started it. Yeah. That on your income as an E4 back then, I guarantee you probably couldn't afford it. It was at the time, this was like in the late 90s that I did that discovery flight, and just the discovery flight by itself was like, I think it was like $50, which isn't that bad, but it's still for the times. And
so I heard y'all saying that you flew it, but I mean, I thought the worst part, or like the most dangerous, the most competent part of flying is landing. Is that true? Or, I mean,
yeah, but I didn't take off. I didn't land it. The instructor did. Yeah,
flying it's easy. Well, a glider anyway. I was flying a glider.
Yeah,
the only thing we had to do was we had to find these things called thermals, to where, like, if you didn't find a thermal, then you would have to find a field to land in.
Right.
But if you found the thermal, it would take you higher and higher and higher, and then you would jump out of that thermal, and go find another thermal.
Yeah,
So
well,
when
I
you
mean,
say thermal, do you mean like where like is it
an
a
updraft
vice or yeah I
type
was gonna
deal,
say or
right?
like the heat from the air that just
It
lifts
just
you up.
raises up the air blows the glider up into the
Okay, see,
air.
these are all things I don't know. So my bad if I'm sounding kind of ignorant, but I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I've always been fascinated by flying. For a while, I thought about becoming a pilot. Actually, believe it or not, it's funny that Gravy just said hot air. I actually was considering being a hot air balloon pilot at
I've
one
been in one
time.
of those too. That was
Have
pretty
you?
cool.
And believe you need the total, at least from my memory, I think you need 13 hours of flight time in a hot air balloon, but you have to take a ground test like you would even in as a plane drive piloting a plane. So you have to take that test too. But from what I understand, every pilot of a hot air balloon is also an instructor. So once you become a pilot, you're also an instructor. So you could teach and you can have your classes and teach others how to do the hot air ballooning as well. And hot air balloons are steered solely on the wind currents. They're not, you can't actually steer them necessarily, only by going up to a different current going in a different direction slightly, or lowering yourself to a different level to the so the wind will blow you a certain way. But yeah, that
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought
not,
about that.
I'm not,
That was,
I'm not military like at all. But my grandpa took me up on a hot air balloon. I don't know. I was like 6 years old, and it started making sense how that worked. You're exactly right because all that's doing is it's reducing it's adding heat, so it's reducing the space for the molecules, making it less dense, and so it floats. But the only control you have is weights on the edge of the hot
yeah,
air balloon, and then releasing or adding heat to
yeah,
the
that's it.
balloon.
Yeah,
That,
but
that's about all the control you have.
yeah, but I always thought, I mean, I always thought that would be a fascinating thing to learn. And it was like, at the time, it was like a total to get that was going to be about like $12,000 or something along, something crazy like that to get my license. And I was like, I'm not spending 12 grand on that shit. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty fun to think about anyway for a little bit that I was going to be a hot air balloon pilot.
It's very
But
peaceful up there. Very
yeah, yeah,
peaceful.
yeah.
I
And I'm
know.
not afraid of heights at all. Like, you
I,
know,
I
yeah,
never,
that's
I
right. Why
never,
doesn't Kaiser float if hot air floats?
I never got that
I
high. We were tied to a rope. You know, I was like 6 years old. It's
Yeah,
they do that in Lafayette. It's like a balloon festival thing. So I only went out like max 100 foot off the ground. But I mean,
yeah.
What's up,
I
Dave?
definitely understand. So I don't know how that works because I thought I don't know if it's different from the military to civilians. I know in Colorado you have to do 3 manned skydives to even apply for your unmanned skydive, and it's like $500 a trip if you're doing it by
Well, in the Army,
yourself.
there's two types of, well, there's a couple types, but there's the beginning. Now, I wasn't airborne, but I know a bit about it. You do a static line jump in the Army, so you're not going out on a tandem jump, just free falling. Initially, you're hooked to a static line, and then you jump out the door, and the static
Scottish
line
one
pulls
in the
your
house.
chute for you. And but I was air assault. I repelled out of helicopters, is what my little wings were that I wore.
How many times they make you do that before before the military just allowed you to do it? Just
repelling out of helicopters.
general, yeah, just in general.
We did well in the Army. You're called a 5-jump chump. If you just got your wings and you never done any other jump and you just came out of school, you do 5 jumps in airborne school. I know that much. And from what I understand, airborne school is pretty physical, but not quite as mental as air assault school. Air assault school has a little bit more of an academic side to it because you could learn different aspects of helicopters and sling loads. You ever seen helicopters? They pick up a load and they carry it from one place to another. Underneath it, you learn how to do that kind of thing. You learn how to set up an LZ, a landing zone. You learn how to what else is there? Just different things about the helicopter itself. The rappels that we did out of the helicopter for qualification, our practice jumps were off of a rappel tower, which was about 40 feet. And at the time when I was in, they were just phasing out the Huey. So we were also learning how to rappel out of the Huey and the Blackhawks. So we did both. We rappelled out of Hueys and Blackhawks. And the Huey, you stand on the skid, which is like the little skis on the bottom of a Huey. And one thing I didn't realize about a Huey is when they take off, those actually go in slightly. So it was a little weird, like when you feel something kind of go out from under you for a second when you're just going up in the air on a fucking Huey.
You're definitely showing your age now.
Yeah, I know. MSG retired. See, I'm a badass. MSG retired. See, you didn't know, did you? Aerosol's harder than airborne. There you go.
So when you're talking about that 40-foot tower, is it a special chute, or like were you like attached to like a bungee or something?
This isn't a parachute. This is rappelling. This is sliding down a rope, basically.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
We were dopes on a rope, and the airborne were falling rock.
Right. You went to aerosol school too, David?
Pardon?
You went to aerosol too?
Yeah, but Master Sergeant, cover your ears. Troy, cover your ears. Any other? Okay. I cried on the 90-foot rappel.
Did you really? Ours was 120 feet, I think. That's what they told me, at least. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think 90 feet was estimated because sometimes that 90-foot rope would be off the ground, and sometimes it would drag you, depending on how much wind.
They just told us that if the fucking helicopter was going to crash, they were going to cut the fucking ropes, and good luck.
Who's Alexander Northwoods? Who the hell's Alexander?
Oh, don't get that guy started.
Alexandria
McQueen, yeah. Do not get that dude started. Leave McQueen alone, dude. I just left that fucking place. Fuck that. Do not get that guy started.
Lee, we had a good talk with him yesterday. We had him calm down.
Nah, I had that dude roasted his balls today. Fuck him.
But I told everybody he was gonna go right back to doing what he was doing.
Oh yeah.
You see, he kept running from me yesterday. He didn't want to talk to me. He kept running from me.
Yo, he called you out, OG. I was like, don't make me get OG up in this bitch. But we're not talking about that shit. I mean, unless you want to. I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about it. Do your thing.
He always called me out until I show up.
That's beautiful.
Oh, no. Did you see what Untrackable said? That's funny.
Yo, Untrackable. How the fuck you get in here? Yo, bro. You've been making your fucking rounds, yo. I'm questioning now because you said that you were part of the FBI the other day.
That's funny.
Yeah, you got to chill out, bro. And I'll be going back through, and I will be clipping that shit, and we will be getting context for that shit. So if I were you, I'd just zip it real quick.
Who said that?
Easy said that he heard fucking Untracked saying that shit on TVP. So it is what it is. Just fucking.
I never heard it.
Do your thing for now. Do your thing for now. I'm not saying that it happened or didn't happen. I said I'm gonna go back through.
I like Untrackable. You leave Untrackable alone.
I like Untrackable unless he admits he's the FBI.
He ain't the fucking FBI.
No, he might be a part of the Department of Energy. Those are the people that have the UFOs.
No, Untrackable work at the Coca-Cola plant.
The only
what I would do if I was FBI too. I'd work at I would make up a bunch of bullshit and I would let you guys know that. I'm just saying. All I'm saying is that he's been making a lot of rounds. All I'm saying is he's been making a lot of rounds, and I just want to fucking double check it, guys. Once I find it, I'm either going to confirm it nor deny it with you.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to confirm it. The closest thing Untrackable gets to FBI is TBI.
No, my question is.
No, you're gonna get a UTI if you fuck around.
yeah, you get the UTI. Oh man, you don't want to piss fire. That sucks. The UTI, especially for a guy.
Yo, what up on track, bro?
You don't want that. You don't want that heat. But I was gonna ask you guys since I have some of you guys up. Angry Vet, chemtrails. Is that a real conspiracy or not? Do you think that's real?
It's absolutely real.
I can't confirm nor deny that, but I do have questions.
I can smell some conspiracy theorist on my panel. That's why I'm asking.
I don't theorize shit. I look at what's true and I fucking tell you.
I'm just asking
questions about it, right? There's some serious questions.
My bad. Fuck it. I'll let you speak. My bad.
I know from the research that I did.
I love you, Tab.
the chemtrails are expended fuel. So if it's expended fuel,
There's a bunch of
always
aluminums
love a
and
conspiracy talk, by the way.
light metal and heavy metal shit in there on purpose.
Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
first of
hold
all,
on-
I have
hold
to
on just
caution
a minute,
everybody.
dog.
Just 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. I have to caution everybody. Everybody, right now, don your protective tinfoil hats at this moment. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Yo,
Don't
hold
say
on, hold
didn't
on. I
warn you.
got you. Hold on.
I got
I'm about to
three
make some
tinfoil
shit.
hats. I got
Everybody
three
put your
tinfoil hats
tinfoil hats
Yo,
on.
this is fucking
cardboard and
great.
aluminum shield.
Hold on.
Everybody put
I
your
mean,
tinfoil hats on first, okay, for protection purposes only. And I agree. See, I'm a skeptic. MSG Retired says exactly what I believe. It condenses the cold air and it leaves those trails behind.
Yeah.
And tell me why I'm wrong.
They're
You're not wrong. That's
I'll tell you why.
expensive.
There's
True.
fucking
That's-
pieces of metal inside of it. That's why you're wrong.
But
'Cause
how do you
don't-
know?
They're-
How do you know?
they're-
Because
still
the
expended
reducing
gases in
pressure
there
does not
causing it to
automatically create something. It has to be a reduce in pressure and a reduce in viscosity and moisture in the air. And you don't just randomly fly off an airport and then just choose to hit a button to release that shit. So that's why you're fucking not accurate with that.
I'm just asking because I'm going to make some videos about this, and I'm that you guys are on, and I'm asking honest questions. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm
Here's
just
my
asking
thought.
No,
I don't think
Here's
you
my
are. I'm
thought.
being the
Let-
honest dub-wubs that I am, and I'm doing my best.
Let me actually answer the question. For
Oh,
Christ's
go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
All right, sorry, Tav. I love you.
Holy shit. here's my thought on the whole thing. Chemtrails. I believe, yes, they're real. Do I believe all of the vapor shit that you see in the air behind a plane is a chemtrail? No, I don't believe so. I believe MSG 100%. That is the reason why you see, a cloud of white behind a plane. But if you are naive enough to think that the government is not putting stuff in our atmosphere on purpose to manipulate weather and shit like that, then you might be living in the Stone Age.
they do that anyway, Tats.
K-Dub has the tinfoil hat on, and I love that.
Yeah, what I was saying though is that some of those chemtrails, part of what makes that chemtrail is the expended gases from the plane releasing from the engine. It's got to go somewhere so it comes out. And hot air and cold air create a cloud.
Okay, so somebody educate me on this because I hear this kind of thing all the time.
I've seen them seed the clouds with dry ice and stuff to make these little rain clouds. I've seen the government experiment with the dry ice and the other shit that they drop in the clouds.
Well, that's my question. What is
clouds.
what are people worried about with these things? What is it that people are saying?
They think that they're killing the climate and
I'll tell you why. So what's happening is that they learn that if we inject or we let people breathe in or take and induce heavy metals in a small dose, we understand that not only they're killing themselves, but they're changing their physiology so that when they make kids, they don't know that those kids are already dead.
So
that's the key. That's the key,
is what
man.
we're talking about? Is it's population control is what people are thinking?
It's always population control.
Okay,
Never forget
I'm
that.
just curious.
Never forget that it's always population control.
Because well, here's the thing, because actually I have another side to this channel too, and I'm also going to branch off into that, to talking about things like this, which would be like the chemtrails, and also one thing I've been hitting hard lately is Bigfoot. And now I don't believe in any of this shit, so that's the reason why
I'm not so sure about Bigfoot, but maybe.
Well, I don't believe in any of it, so that's why
there ain't no goddamn Bigfoot because we're too greedy of people. And there would be a dead Bigfoot out of all these years. One of us would have killed that motherfucker by now,
or somebody would have married one.
Yo, I would suggest that you do that. And guess what? I will not even come on the panel until I am well versed, well documented, and I have everything in front of me that. With links, proof, and everything. That's how I fucking live.
No. I would love like this is the kind of thing that I want to also branch. Like my channel is now I want people to have other subjects to think about or talk about other than just Kaiser and fucking the First Amendment auditing.
Oh no, man! It's Illuminati, a cult bot around here. That's how we do it.
There's so much shit out there, and believe me, I am an anti-conspiracy theorist, but I'm not one that will bash you for what you believe to be true, because what you believe to be true could be true. I just don't know. I might be just ignorant about it, and I would like to know about what people are finding out. Right?
Do you have an email address? Because I would like to make a video, like an intro or like an outro to that, because there's a difference between conspiracy and conspiracy theory, and I'd like to. And if you approve it, I would like to make that and then send it to you. See if you approve it, edit it however you want it, and then.
Well, I make intros I make intros pretty well, man. I'm kind of known for that.
Well, I just mean like a constant intro, like a repetitive intro.
Well, yeah. I mean, either way, it don't matter. I mean, I have an email.
Well, at least give me the shot, bro.
Yeah. No. It's in my about section. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, no problem. Not a problem at all.
There's a difference between conspiracy and conspiracy theory. A conspiracy is two or more people, whereas a conspiracy theory is something that implies that there may be possibly something that may fucking happen. We're not conspiracy theorists. We're conspiracy obvious around here.
Okay, all right.
You know.
Well. I'll just give you an example. And some of what I concentrate on are some things that I think are just complete batshit crazy. Like this one dude on my channel that I made a couple of videos about so far. I believe he has an extreme case of pareidolia, and this motherfucker sees Bigfoot in everything. He is the walking embodiment of the Tootsie Roll commercial. Whatever it is I think I see becomes a fucking Bigfoot to me. And I'm just telling you, like, that guy his name is Crypto Reality. And I would love somebody like you who maybe dabbles in the fringe stuff, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call it. But I would love to get opinions on people, and even people that do believe in Bigfoot and other things like the chemtrails and things. I would love to get people like a one side that is kind of the skeptics like me, and then the other side. And here's the thing: I'm willing to learn anything, and I'm open-minded enough. I would even love to have some flat Earth people out that want to.
You're the flat, bro.
Is it?
I got another question. I got another question about Bigfoot. Like, why in this society today, where there's a camera on every fucking corner, and we got satellites taking pictures of everything, and the cameras are always in the right spot. Why hasn't the camera ever been in the right spot for Bigfoot?
Camouflage.
No, it's on.
I think no. I think.
Why can't we see people in Australia upside down?
Listen,
come on, pay attention here.
Bigfoot is naturally blurry. That's why there's never any clear pictures of him. He's just a blurry animal.
What do you mean? I am Bigfoot. The fuck we talking about?
I'm just saying.
You've never seen me before, though, have you?
Look, Nick. It's not about trust, but I want to give people a platform to talk about what they want to talk about, and maybe get some of this message out there about the chemtrails, about Bigfoot, about why Bigfoot can embed himself into fucking muddy banks of the Swanee River in Florida.
I think it's a good platform. I think it's a good idea. I think
I actually love that
channel for it, though. I don't think.
Yeah. Now I will tell you the one side that I go off the deep end about. I am a UFO/UAP guy. I believe that we have been visited by aliens. I don't believe we have fucking lizard people running around, but I do believe.
We are lizard people. Come on.
I do believe that there have been aliens and shit like that.
We're aliens to somebody else, I'm sure.
Yep.
Got you.
I'm just saying I believe that. But I don't believe in chemtrails quite yet. Somebody can convince me of that. And also Bigfoot. I don't believe in Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Mothman. I don't believe in any of that shit.
Go read MSG's
not even a little
comment.
bit.
MSG says since the 40s and 50s, the government has been trying to manipulate
seeding clouds. Yeah, and that's actually fact. That is fact. But I don't know that they're doing it every single day. Every time you see a jet go by, that's a fucking chemtrail.
Exactly. Everybody, you can't see everything you see as a conspiracy. There's the best conspiracy is when they let people live and they don't actually see it. That's the key. Yo, that would be dope. And
Also, moon landing. People don't believe in the moon landing.
because we didn't land on the moon, I have a whole.
That guy, you're the guy. You're gonna be my guy, man. You're gonna be that guy.
Bro, I'm saying I'm gonna email you, dude, and yo, give me a topic. I'll
You
research
believe in
it.
all that
I mean,
shit.
I'm
That's
not. I
good.
don't believe in anything. I know what I know, but
And how much?
I'm gonna email you so that you have my email, and then I'm not just gonna come up on there just randomly. But I mean, if you're like, yo, if you want me on there, tell me what you think about this, and then I will.
Right.
I will like because I've done so much research. I can only retain so much of it, but I mean, I would go back through it. I would have citations. I would do the whole 9 yards, man.
100%, man. And if just shoot me an email. It's in my about section. It's mrquibble.me@proton or something like that. It's one of those fucking Proton emails. And
here's the deal. Dub Wubs has eyes, so that's how I go by.
Okay, all right, man. But
here's what I was taught in the Navy about the whole that proves the whole flat Earth bullshit is bullshit. Is the horizon? I believe I think this is the right number, but correct me if I'm wrong, David.
You're doing math.
The horizon is 12 miles.
Yeah, 12 miles. Yep.
Yeah.
I guess it depends what kind of ship you're on. If you're on a destroyer, the main deck, it's 7 miles out, but I guess a carrier might be farther.
A couple foot does not change miles and miles and miles and miles.
No, but you can see the higher you're up, the farther over the horizon you can see.
Actually, it does, Dubs, because when you're sitting on deck and you're aft watch or forward watch or whatever, and you see absolutely no lights, and then all of a sudden you see lights.
You can translate that to lasers, which go straight across with no bend in the curvature. So it's all right. We're gonna agree for now. If you can prove me wrong, then then I will accept it.
Now here's some two things that I've heard flat earthers say that are kind of fascinating to me, and I'm not Mr. Science or whatever his damn name was, Mr. Wizard or whatever they called him back in the day. But one thing that they said is because the space is a vacuum, how come it hasn't sucked all the air out of the Earth? How come
that's a good question.
How come our real thin atmosphere is capable of fighting against the vacuum of space? That's an interesting question to me. I don't know. I might be ignorant. Maybe you can tell me. Maybe it's a real simple answer that I probably should have learned in 3rd grade.
Have you ever seen what happens in a vacuum of space when you create a complete vacuum?
I don't know, but I would love
soda completely explodes, bro. Like
I would love to turn all that shop back in
all right.
space.
We're not going to go into it right now. But that's all right. So good. As long as we're going to go down, but you don't have to, but if we're going to do that, let's do it. And I'm going to give as much evidence as that I can forward, and let's see who we can.
Absolutely, man.
Dubs, are you saying you think the Earth is flat?
He does, yes.
I think that the Earth is either flat or the Earth is 100 times bigger than we've been led to believe.
There you go. And does NASA control? Let me ask you this: are you the one that
we need to send him out into the middle of the ocean? Is what we need to do. In the middle of the ocean is what we need to put him in.
I mean, I have more evidence than you think that I could just speak here. I mean, there has to be like legitimate proof. My words aren't proof to nobody here. It's just me saying words. So, well, let's see. I mean, if I am wrong, then I believe. So here's the deal. I will.
Now, are you open-minded?
I'm willing to have my mind changed with new facts presented at all times. Period. And that's how I've always lived my life.
Well, I'll give you something to research then for the flat Earth. Explain. I need an explanation on why a surface contact in the middle of the ocean, 15 miles away or 20 miles away, you can't see it. But once it gets to, say, less than 12 miles away, then you can start seeing it.
Well, you need something better. Are you talking about with your eyeballs? Or are you talking with a camera? That's what you do have to. You have to realize that the ocean will create what's called
a set of big eyes. You can see it on radar, 25 miles away.
All right.
Okay, you can see it on radar 25 miles away, but once it gets to like 12 miles or less, then you can see it. Then you can start seeing it with your eyes and a set of big eyes.
I got
Explain
you.
to me why
Well,
that
first off, without any proof, right now, I can tell you, when light is shining on the ocean, it creates what's called an optical illusion. So there's that one, just to name one. But I mean, if that's what, you know what, maybe that should be like the first topic when me and Tab come on. You know,
And why, I got one more question. Why is it when a surface contact is approaching you at night, why is it the first thing you see is its mast light, and then as it gets closer, the more lights are revealed?
I would have to slow that one down and actually, maybe it's. I mean, I guess I would have to like break that a little bit down because that was kind of hard for me as a normie to understand.
Well, mast light is at the very top of the mast, and then you have your running lights or your stern light, and then you have your running lights and your port and starboard lights and stuff like that.
Depends on where they're pointing.
It doesn't matter where they're pointing. The mast light is 360.
What do you mean?
The donkey's back?
Okay, so why can you see the
Come on,
one that's
kid.
pointing 365 versus the one that's not pointing 365? Is that my accurate understanding?
It doesn't matter which way the boat is. You're always going to see a running light you're always going to see the mast light, and you're always going to see the stern light, and you're always going to see a red or green light. Doesn't matter which way the boat's facing. But the lights progress down. They start at the top, and then they start to get down, and then you got your cabin lights and all that other shit.
Light does not go down at all. Light does not have a great gravitational weight. Light goes forward.
You're not following what I'm saying.
I know
he's
I'm
talking about
not.
when it's traveling over the horizon.
I'm trying to understand, Tab. I'm trying to understand.
The lights on a boat progressively. The highest light on a boat is its mast light, correct? Right?
Yeah, like a tower on a boat is what he's talking about.
Right. And then you got probably maybe the second highest light, if all the cabin lights are off, or all your infrastructure lights or whatever are off, is probably going to be your stern light. And then your third lowest light is going to be your running lights, your port and starboard lights. And they progressively start high, and they progressively get lower closer to the surface of the water. So when you see something far away coming at you, the first thing you're going to see is its mast light. And then as it gets closer, then you're going to see the next set of lights lower in the chain, and lower and lower. And then finally, you're going to see all of its lights. Why is that?
I'd have to figure that. Well, give me the first concept is that water, yes, it wants to be level to its gravity, but also, if you know anything about water always has a higher curve than the land around it. So, like, if you ever filled up a bowl of water up to the brim, if you look at the water, the middle of that water is always higher than the brim. So why would it be lower than the land, unless we have things like currents and weather and things that are actually shifting the water around? We're not talking about still water that doesn't move, right? We're talking about something that's ebbing and flowing constantly based on its North Pole versus South Pole gravitational pull versus the weather pushing and pulling and lifting and heaving, and right.
So if the Earth is flat, then why are the tides different across the country? Like, shouldn't the tide? If the Earth is flat, then the tides should all be the same.
So when someone says the Earth is flat, they don't really mean the Earth is flat. More than likely, the Earth is more concave or convex as opposed to flat nor round, because if we know anything about the North and South Pole, how can you have, if everything pulls to the North and South Pole, how can we have all the water just sitting evenly between the two magnetic poles.
They
It would
don't
do
actually.
that.
So we
Now-
think about it this
Now,
way.
hold on.
But
Hold on
we're,
for a
we're
minute.
talking about a
Now-
mass fucking amount
Now,
of
The
energy.
Pacific
I
Ocean,
said-
the
Pulling
Pacific
and
Ocean
pulling.
is, I
sailed
believe,
on the
higher
Navy
than the
destroyer.
Atlantic or one of the others.
But I
higher than
sailed
that.
on the Navy destroyer from Guam with my grandfather from Guam to 0 latitude and 0 longitude out in the Indian Ocean to see my aunt on her last tour of duty in the Navy. But we were on the Navy ship, and I was watching the sun come up when we crossed the date line. It was midnight on one side, and it was daytime on the other side. We were crossing the horizon line on the date line. We were going into the next day backwards.
You should be able to, in theory,
we sailed backwards around the world. We sailed into the next day backwards. We sailed out of one day into the day before, into the next day, all the way around the fucking world. Explain that. We went from Guam all the way around the world.
that's why time's not linear.
If the
Time is
world was
linear,
flat,
and
we
time is
would've
a
fell
human
off.
construct. We're going off of dead noon to Great Britain. Great Britain is 0 and 0, and that's when the day starts because
Hey,
Great
help me
Britain
out here.
owns
You're in the
everything.
Navy, bud.
Wait, Great Britain owns everything?
Oh yeah,
What do
They
you mean
used
they
to.
own everything?
the
That's a
Rothschilds.
new one. That's a new one for me. So
The
can
way
you
I see
explain
it,
that?
here we have 5 people on one panel.
You think that
Hold on,
Great
Doug.
Britain doesn't still
Hold on,
own
Doug.
America?
Let me
They
hear-
don't own Australia. They don't own.
I don't know.
everything?
That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking
David,
you. Why did you say that? Because
Hold on, I want to hear what David got to say.
Yeah, me
Thank
too.
you. We got 5 people who have very similar thinking when it comes to YouTube, but we seem to have vastly different ideas on the shape of the Earth.
Right.
And I'm thinking there's 7 billion people out there. Even within our country, there are competing corporations that have satellites, and there are competing nations that have satellites. Can you really think that we would have 7 billion people and all these hundreds of companies and all these dozens of countries have satellites, and no one's came forward and said, hey, we're really flat or really concave or whatever?
Yeah,
I
I
just-
can't
I don't think
actually.
that many people
There's
get
been a
along.
lot of dead people on the planet, and there's been a $500 trillion backing behind that. It's called the World Bank.
But nobody,
So are you
nobody
one?
ever said they fell off. They sailed off the side of the earth and came back and talked about it.
Well, Dubs, are you one
But
that
they sailed all
believes
the
that
way
there's
around
an
and talked
ice
about it.
wall that goes around the entire circumference of the Earth?
I think that's why I said it's either flat or it's 100 times
no,
bigger
I'm
than
just
we
asking
think
you,
it
do
is.
you- which
I'm
way
answering.
do you-
I think it's either flat, which it kind of makes sense, but it makes more sense that the Earth is 100 times bigger than we think it is.
But what's on the outside if you say it's either concave or not? What's on the border of that? Keeping everything inside. You know what I mean? What are the walls? Are there walls
on the
of
wall?
Oh my gosh, you got to put GMKs.
So I think so. It's difficult because that's why I think that it's probably. I think the Earth is a lot bigger than we think it is. It's harder to believe that we are literally like this cone that has like a core underneath that like a planet once blew up in kind of mentality. That's a little bit far out there for me. It makes more sense scientifically without like the government telling you what's going on, that it makes more sense that the Earth is like 100 times bigger than it really is, and we might be at one of the poles of it, and that we're being possibly, because we can't go to Antarctica. Like, you're not allowed there without special permission.
So Bear Britton says that he believes if the Earth was flat, it would be like a bowl, because if not, the water would just fall off the edges. Is that kind of your thinking on that?
Well, I mean, in that theory, yes, because that's what the ice wall would be. But I mean, that's why it's if we were to revert things similar to upside down, where the North Pole is our North Pole, but we're actually the South Pole, where it's actually cold.
But why is there a north and a south if the Earth is either concave or flat? So that's my question. Like, what is?
Well,
a
that would
pole
be the
then?
ice bowl that would make that happen. let me. I mean, I would have. It's hard to show you things through my phone right now.
Right. I get it.
So if I was coming through with understanding, and if we were going at
Well,
this
why don't we
topic, I would.
why don't we cap the topic right now and we'll schedule something? Just shoot me some emails and
And-
we'll have a
Yeah,
broader
and-
discussion where you can get all your information together, and that way you can really like dig into it. You know what I mean?
That'd be great. And I'm not saying that I know this to be a fact or that.
Right.
When we look at everything, it kind of seems like the math isn't mathing up.
Right. No,
And we're
Right.
talking
Audits in the
about
house.
more than
You
just
haven't seen
math and more than history. We're talking about like
You
history we
haven't
don't
seen his
know
latest
and
video,
things that
you
we
gotta
don't.
go see it. Bear Britton Audits in the house. Go check his latest video out. It's disgusting.
Oh,
Right,
is that
well, let me
that
get
video
your take.
too?
I do
Yeah,
have a
that was
question.
bullshit.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me
If you didn't share that shit, you're the fucking problem. Shout out to Tab.
Right.
wait, hold on. I'm not ready to go yet. I just want to show you a video, and I want your take on this guy. And I kind of, poke a little fun of him. I don't know if you've seen this video yet. It's called "I Want Skinwalker Ranch on My Salad, Please."
Oh, my buddy, the Skinwalker.
Yeah. So I wanna get his take on that because he seems like he's game into like things maybe like this. Like, look, are you into kind of like the supernatural as well, or?
What does
Or not?
supernatural mean?
Well,
There's definitely supernatural out there. There's some.
Yeah, you got to define that though.
Supernatural.
yeah.
is
Well, I'll give you an
anything-
example.
You mean things beyond the physical? Of course, there's
Yeah.
things beyond the physical.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
okay.
supernatural is not just beyond the physical. It's more ethereal. Supernatural goes into the spiritual act
Yeah, beyond the
academic
physical.
of-
Beyond the physical. Oh, okay.
of the darkness and the things that dwell within the darkness.
Right.
I think we do know as humans that this is a quote unquote because scientific fact because science only proves what something is not, but we only see 1% of the light spectrum, which means that there's 99% of what the light spectrum is that's actually happening around us, and that's not even talking about beyond the realm that we live in.
Yeah. I just want to see what your take on this kind of thing is. I'm just trying to gauge on what things that you just go, oh, yeah, that's full of shit, or just curious, So here, hold on, let me upload
Well, I'm
this.
gonna go on that note. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette.
Sure, yeah, I'm gonna be dropping down here
I'm
after
gonna
this
smoke a
video. and
cigarette
after I
with
get
you, Tab. What's up, Tab? I love you, bro.
after I
Dubs, I
get
love
his
you
opinion
too,
on
but
this.
you lost me on that whole flat Earth shit.
It's okay.
That's
It's
all
okay.
right.
We
That's
can
all
have
right.
these- we
You're
can have
either
these
going to prove me
discussions.
wrong, or I'm going to prove you wrong, or we're not going to. We're
I
still
don't
going to
have
be
to
able to
prove
miss.
anything. I know what I've seen in the middle of the ocean, and
All right. Well,
I mean, there's
Don't
all kinds of there's all
don't
kinds
trust
of
Tab's lying eyes just because he said it.
and
There's one thing we can disagree on, Dubs. I sailed all the way around the world through 3 different days.
all right,
I
here, let
know-
me show you this
I
real
know the
quick.
world got some shape to it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking to you.
And what's your take on this guy? Now, I may, I'll just leave it up as it is. Okay, here we go.
Do that.
All right, here we go. Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
Yeah,
So,
I'm talking about the physical world too. Okay,
Right.
I will leave this body anytime I want and go and possess another one. I will throw
Oh,
this body in
really?
the gutter like Easy E threw 6 floors away. Okay,
Really,
throw it in
you
the
can
gutter.
do that.
I have done it 5 times. The last time I did it, I went 34 days without eating. Yes, I could show
Okay,
you
can
videos.
you show me to do that now? How do you do that?
Well,
I mean, I
you
would say that's a
believe,
delirium because
you have faith, right?
But how do you do
That
that? Just how
people,
do you do that?
it's not a concept that I can like convey to somebody else, right? It's just like when you're talking to somebody about their faith, they either believe or they don't. You can't prove it, but I know that I can do it, right? Haven't you ever heard somebody say that they feel possessed?
Right, but so you're a possessor of other people?
No,
So
I've
you're-
never.
Who did you possess?
I'm saying that I can.
Well,
I can
how did you do
definitely
that?
lead-
And who did you do that to?
Well, there's a famous video of me being kidnapped in Bakersfield with Sam the Man, and Nate Skates 182 was there.
Where would I see that? Because I really would like to see that.
Well, you could see it on San Joaquin News Network. It took place like over a year ago. I mean, I don't know how I'd get you the link because
All right, so what do you think of that?
Wasn't he an auditor? What was his name?
Yeah, that's Press Harder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Press Harder that said that he possessed 5 people before. What do you think of that kind of thing?
I'm thinking maybe. I mean, I like some of his work. I like his work, but maybe he was just on drugs when he had.
I think this
Now-
was a shroom-induced situation here.
But now you got to remember where he's at too. He's out west in that
Right.
region where the legends of the skinwalkers are
Right.
prevalent throughout Native American culture.
Oh, I get
And-
that.
Skinwalkers in Native American history, what most people don't understand about skinwalkers is that they were used for evil purposes. They had no good intent at all. They weren't used.
Now, do you
do
believe in
good things.
skinwalkers, Mitch?
No, my great grandfather's Apache and my grandfather's Cherokee. I learned
Right.
the legends.
So,
As-
but you
as a
don't
baby at
believe
their
them as
knees.
fact. You just say that you know the stories.
I know the stories.
Right.
Like I know the stories of the Wendigos and the owl calling your name and
Right.
all those stories, but I heard them firsthand from my elders, and then I got to sit on the reservations and listen to these stories.
Right.
And all throughout history, these myths and these legends all started out with the same original concept.
Mushrooms.
They were stories of morality.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And ethics. They were taught to teach kids to behave, but they
Right.
grew into legends and urban myths and the whole folklore.
Well, he could also be a marketing genius because I mean, look
Yeah.
at us now. We're still talking about him. and
Oh
his-
yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. You're right.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
Yeah.
What the skinwalker theory comes from natives in the desert. So the mushroom theory holds no water. It's more than likely if
Peyote?
any psychedelics were going to be used as an excuse would be the Sonoran desert toad frog that if you
Right.
jerk it off and you smoke the shit from it, you get high as
Wait a minute.
actually you trip harder than DMT.
Really?
Yeah, you could
weird.
scrape a little bit of the poison off a dart frog and mix it with a little baking soda and water and put that shit on your tongue and you'll see all kind of shit.
Well, anyway, guys, I'm gonna drop off, guys, for right now. I appreciate you guys, but yeah, send me that email, Dove Webs, and then we'll have a chit chat. And if anybody else wants to come up, and maybe you can come if there's somebody in chat that might be interested in this type of thing. I've always been interested in this stuff. I'm not saying that I believe any of it.
I will
I'm
not
just-
be there.
Come on, come on.
I will
You-
not be there.
Why can't you help me be the
No,
skeptic?
no. Tav is gonna be there. You know, you don't have
Okay.
a choice.
All right.
If Tav's
all
not
right.
there, I ain't even showing up. Fuck that.
I'll
Yeah, I
be
need-
there
I
for
need
the
a fellow-
angry factor. The
Yeah,
angry
yeah. I
factor.
need an angry factor. So
Okay.
I'll plan something out. We'll get in touch with each other on just send me an email. It's in my about section. You can send me one there, and then I'll get with you guys. But I'll leave you guys with a little video action, and then we will call it a day. I appreciate everybody though, and I'll let
Put
Angry
Troy's-
Vet. I know Angry Vet likes to sign out, so I'll let him do his thing.
Put Troy's comment up there too. By
Oh, wait, where's Troy? Wait, hold on. Let me find it here. Oh, yeah, that is a good comment.
That's a good comment.
Yeah, I
Love
don't
that.
I don't know the ins and outs of that.
Yo, that's not
That's
even
a
that's
good
not
one,
even the real
Troy.
question. It's not even about jerking the frog off. It's who the fuck decided to smoke it. That's the real question.
No, I think the question is who thought about jerking the frog off
yeah, that's
first.
the question.
I
Well,
don't
you
know.
could cut open a frog and get the shit from it without jerking it off. I'm just saying that's how you do it nowadays.
All right,
All right,
Now-
Angry Vet, would you like to sign off?
sure. Screenshot this, motherfuckers. Adios.
All right, guys. Have a
Later,
good one, guys.
Tab.
All right, man.
Are you concerned about those pesky First Amendment auditors? Are they giving you a case of the old heebie-jeebies? Are you the elected jailer for Meade County, Kentucky? Is your name JJ? Then worry no more. Introducing Fraudit Wrangler. Fraudit Wrangler. Fraudit Wrangler. Fraudit Wrangler. That's right. Now you can have a 5-time felon, a phony wounded U.S. Army veteran who never completed basic training, and the only suspect in the murder of an actual disabled veteran. Guide you through the ins and outs of dealing with those pesky First Amendment auditors. JJ Fraudit Wrangler will always be happy to fill your head with all of his pillbilly knowledge. But wait, that's not all. If you act now, Michael will give you your very own Purple Heart.
I don't have a Purple Heart.
I didn't retire. I was medically boarded out after enough to earn myself 2 Purple Hearts and 3 tours. So
I don't have a Purple.
I am a disgrace to the community. So tell me how. I deserve to be bullied. I deserve to be bullied. I deserve to have people dox me. I deserve to have my identity stolen. I deserve to have my family. I deserve to have my identity stolen, destroyed because I have joined a panel with someone that people think is a criminal. I deserve to have my identity stolen. You get on stream with Wrangler and Wrangler. Oh, Wrangler coming in the worst crime. Wrangler killed a guy. Wrangler this and that, but you still support him. Pull up your receipts, show me evidence, and chill out. I'm an honest content creator. And it's like, wow. Oh my god, guys, I don't know what to do. I fucking motherfucker.
Do you watch Fraudit Wrangler on YouTube? Did you know Fraudit Wrangler is not only a 5-time felon, but he also lied about his military service? If that wasn't enough, Fraudit Wrangler was charged with the capital murder of Donald Atwater Cameron, a disabled Marine Corps veteran. According to official records, he never completed Army basic training, making it impossible for him to have had a 13-year military career, much less to have been wounded in combat action. Oh, and about those murder charges, Michael William Kaiser, also known as Fraudit Wrangler, was never found innocent of taking the precious life of Donald. It was a simple clerical error that forced the charges against Fraudit Wrangler to be dismissed. He remains the only suspect in the case, as of today.